Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Shana Tova. Gamar Chatima Tova, as we say. May we be sealed with blessing and with goodness. Welcome. If this feels a little more joyous than you remember Yom Kippur being growing up, it is for me too. You'll hear me say that this is my favorite day of the year, because it is. Because it's not a day of all peaks, but it's a day in which the depths that we reach allow us to soar even higher. And so we welcome all of you and invite you to soar with us on this Yom Kippur. We're going to start tonight. Page 204. We're going to start tonight on page 204.
Adonai Hoshia, Melech Yaneinu, Yom Koreinu. Adonai Hoshia, Melech Yaneinu, Yom Koreinu. Adonai Hoshia, Melech Yaneinu, Yom Koreinu.
Before we open the Ark, I want to share with you that this summer I was in Europe, in Italy, and I'll share a little bit more about why later. But one day, David and I were walking through the streets of Florence, and I saw a notice for an evening concert that would be held in this haunting, beautiful old cathedral near Ponte Vecchio. And the flyer said that this concert would feature pieces from Vivaldi's Four Seasons and from Bach and from Mozart and Pachelbel's canon. And we excitedly bought tickets so that we could have this incredible experience. We walked through the whole city of Florence that day, and I was just so excited for the concert that night. We got there a little bit early, we took our seats, and then the orchestra took the stage, and they started with Pachelbel's canon. And I know that this composition is considered kind of like the cheesy pop song of concert music and classical music. But the moment that I heard the first notes, I just burst into tears. I don't know if it was the venue, if there was something about being in that old Italian cathedral, if it was this international crowd, if it was the fact of being in Italy, if it was the sweetness of the summer night, if it was the worry about my parents back home. But something about hearing these familiar notes just awakened something very profound in me and touched the depths of my heart and brought me into very clear focus. Our hope when we come here every single year is that Kol Nidre will have that same effect. That somehow these ancient sounds that we'll soon sing together will transcend time and space and will help render all of us at once in the past and also in the present and in the future. That somehow these words and these rituals will grab us by the throat and say, this is your life. This is your life. Are you who you want to be? The goal of this day is to have that depth of connection, to wake up and then to stay awake, to pay attention to what's always there, but might be crowded out by all of the noise around us, to try to help us understand not only what is, but also what could be, to give us the space to ask the big questions about how we're choosing to live. Are we choosing joy? Are we choosing love, or are we choosing bitterness and resentment and revenge? Are we choosing to live from conviction and in alignment with our values? I know that these are really hard questions for us to ask, and the music is going to help, I hope, create a clearing where we have the space to actually be brave during the next 25 hours. I really hope that these moments open us all. Let the music fill you up. Dance and cry and grieve and love and think and reflect and sing. I pray that this time will help us remember what matters most, and I invite you to rise now in whatever way you are able for Kol Nidre.
Nuliyin shmelev simchon tzadikim baronai lehodu zecher kodshon al datamakom el datakawal mishir shel malo vishiva shel matar anu matirim nitpalel im avryanim al datamakom el datakawal vishiva shel malo vishiva shel matar anu matirim nitpalel im avryanim al datamakom el datakawal vishiva shel malo vishiva shel matar anu matirim nitpalel im avryanim Kol Nidre Yesarei Acharamei Ekonamei Echinuyei Ekinusei Shavuot Inedana Nudei Shabana Nudei Acharina Yom Kippurim zeh ad Yom Kippurim abba leinu letova Icharat navion Nidrana lo nidre esarana no esare nushtuatana כיפורים, הבא עלינו לטובה. איכרת נביון, Nidre, lo nidre, esarala, no esare, nushruatana, no shevot. Shevot Nudeish Tabana Nudei Acharimna מיום כיפורים זה עד יום כיפורים הבא עלינו לטובה. איכרת נביון Teilin Vutalin Nasherin lo nidre, estarana, no esare, nu אני סלח לכל הדת בני ישראל, לגר הגר בתוכם, כי לכל העם משגגה. אני סלח לכל הדת בני ישראל, לגר הגר בתוכם, כי לכל העם משגגה. ואני אסלח לכל הדת בני ישראל, לגר הגר בתוכם, כי לכל העם משגגה. סלח נא לעוון העם הזה כגודל חסדך, וכאשר נשאת לעם הזה ממצרים וידנה, לשם נאמר. מה יאמר אדוני, סלחתי כדבריך, ויאמר אדוני, סלחתי כדבריך, ויאמר אדוני, סלחתי כדבריך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והחיינו הזמן הזה. Feel Jerusalem bells a-ringing, Roman cavalry choirs a-singing. Be my mirror, my sword and shield, my missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, once you come it was never, never an honest world. And that was when I ruled the world. Whoa,
Turn to page 207 for Baruch Hu.
את אדוני המערך,
ברוך אדוני ברוך לעולם
ברוך אדוני המערך לעולם ועד.
You can have a seat, and I just want to invite you, if you're able to move in, that would help a lot because we have a bunch of folks looking for spots. And even to lift your arm and wave if there's an open place near you. That would be wonderful. Thank you. Page 207.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני חיינו ערך ימינו וגם נגד יומם ולילה יבדך אל תסיר ממנו לעולם ברוך אתה אדוני
Shema on the middle of page 208, and I just want to remind us, we're going to try and take a full breath for each one of the words in both of these two lines. So give yourself a chance. This might be your first breaths of the new year to really take it in. Page 208.
Shema. Shem kevod malichuto leolam Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Page 210.
Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Mi chamocha ba'eli Adonai. Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. No tehila lo sefele malchucha rabbonecha. Ay, 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 bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe ze'eli anu ve'amnu Adonai yilov le'olam va'ed. Ay, ונאמר כפלת אדוני את יעקב וגדול ומאוד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני. איי, איי, God Yisrael Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom Yavideinu L'Makir L'Chaim Chosaleinu Sukkot Shel Amecha.
Page 211.
Ve'enu pros aleinu sukat shel amecha baruch atah Adonai.
Suchat shalom noleinu v'yal amo Yisrael v'yal kol yoshvei tevel
Ve'yal Yerushalayim.
Please rise in whatever way you're able. We are on the top of page 212.
כי ביום הזה יכפר עליכם, לטהר אתכם מכל חטאותיכם, לפני אדוני תטהרו.
A short kavanah for where we're going. We don't think of the number 5 as being particularly spiritual. But the number 5 is central both to tonight and tomorrow. On the very first Yom Kippur, Aaron the high priest made 5 immersions in the mikveh. He changed his clothing 5 times. And the Hebrew word for clothing, beged, means to lie or to be a traitor. We can think of Aaron's clothing that he had to change so many times as symbolizing all of the accumulated layers that have built up in us over the past year, the little lies and small betrayals that distort our vision, that filter everything through our preconceptions, that keep us stuck. Yom Kippur has 5 services, and tonight and tomorrow we'll have 5 chances to say the Amidah. And these prayers are our opportunity to gently and compassionately peel those layers away so that we can once again glow, illuminated by our practice, ready once again to be who we are called to be in the world. So in the silence and in the singing, carefully and tenderly, we begin to set the lies aside. We let the words move through us and around us, and slowly but surely, we will begin to shine. Chatzi Kaddish, page 212. Please remain standing.
יתקדם ויקדם שמי רבה ביומדים רך ירותי וימליך מלכותי Mevorach ve'olam u'lemeyor
Begins on page 213.
couldn't ever hold me down. Lost love is sweeter when it's finally found. I've got the strangest feeling. This isn't our first time around. Past lives couldn't ever come between us. Sometimes the dreamers finally wake up. Don't wake me, I'm not dreaming. Don't wake me, I'm not dreaming. Past lives couldn't ever hold me down. Lost love is sweeter when it's finally found. I've got the strangest feeling. This isn't our first time around. Past lives couldn't ever come between us. Sometimes the dreamers finally wake up. Don't wake me, I'm not dreaming. Don't wake me, I'm not dreaming. Past lives couldn't ever hold me down. Lost love is sweeter when it's finally found. I've got the strangest feeling. This isn't our first time around. Past lives couldn't ever come between us. Sometimes the dreamers finally wake up. Don't wake me, I'm not dreaming. Don't wake me, I'm not dreaming.
We are about to begin the repetition of the Amidah. We will begin on page 223, and we'll keep you posted. We're going to be skipping a few things, so keep listening. We'll guide you through it. Page 223.
הנשם הלך וגופו הלך וסעו על עמלם. הנשם הלך והגוף שלו אדוני יעשה למען שמך. תנו שמך אדוני יעשה למען שמך בעבור כבוד שמך כי אל חנון ורחום שמך למען שמך אדוני וסלחת לעווננו כי רבו דרכך אלוהינו ליאריך אפיך לרעים ולטובים ויצילתך
Bottom of page 226.
ועבוד אדוני על פניו ויקרא אדוני אדוני רחום וחנון ערך אפיים ורב חסד אמת נוצר חסד לענבים נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה אדוני אדוני רחום וחנון ערך אפיים ורב חסד אמת נוצר חסד לענבים נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה אדוני רחום וחנון ערך אפיים ורב חסד אמת נוצר חסד לענבים נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה וסלחת עלינו חטאתנו וחטאנו סלח לנו אבינו כי חטאנו מחלנו מלכנו כי פשענו כי אתה אדוני טוב וסלח ורב חסד לכל קוראיך. הנה כך אומר ביד היוצר מצורף, ברצותו משגשג, סופו מצורף, כן אנחנו בידיך, ממנצי למרדרף, לבריתה ולבריתה, ובידי ולייס,
Page 233, Shema Kolenu.
Shema koleinu, Adonai Eloheinu, chos v'rachem aleinu, v'kabel v'rachamim v'ratzon et tfilateinu. Ashiveinu, Adonai lecha v'nashuva, chodesh yameinu, אל תשליכנו מלפניך, מרוח קודשך, אל תיקח ממנו. אל תשליכנו לעת זקנה, ככלות כוחנו, אל תעזבנו. תעזבנו, אדוני אלוהינו, אל תרחק ממנו. עשנו הנאות לטובה, וירוסננו ויבושך את אדוני עזרתנו. אלוהינו ולאבותינו, סלח לנו, מחל לנו, כפר לנו, כי אנו עמך ואתה אלוהינו, אנו עמך ואתה עבדי, אנו עבדיך ואתה אדוננו, אנו עבדיך ואתה חלקנו, אנו עבדיך ואתה גורלנו, אנו צומך ואתה גורלנו, אנו חנך ואתה נותנו, אנו יותך ואתה יוצרנו, אנו רצך ואתה דודנו, אנו זכותך ואתה קרובנו, אנו עמך ואתה מלכנו, אנו מלך ואתה מלכנו.
You can be seated for a second.
אז פנים יתה רחום וחנון, אנו קשי עורף יתה ערך אפיים, אנו ולבון ויתה מלא רחמים, אנו ימינו כצל עובר, יתה ושנותיך לא איתנו.
Gemar Chatima Tova, everyone. I love graduation and commencement speeches. When they're done right, they really seem to be able to capture something essential about the human spirit and distill it into a few key phrases to be really honest about what it means to be a person in the world and then offer it to us. One of my recent finds is the 2019 Barnard commencement speech given. Woo! Okay, some Barnard representation in the house. Love that. Wasn't expecting it. Should have known. And it was given by the actor. Do you know? Viola Davis. And she really executed it flawlessly. All the things that I was looking for, she did them. She said, most notably, own all of your memories and experiences, all of them. And then she posed a question that I haven't been able to get out of my head since then. She said, who said that all of what you are, of who you are, has to be good? All of who you are is who you are. All of who you are is who you are. We are entering into the first vidui of the next 25 hours, the moment in our service where we do the confessional. And we'll do it out loud with Chazan Hillel, where we look at ourselves and we see our whole selves, not all of which is good. This is the part of our service where we mostly look at the parts that are not good, that we may not be proud of. But maybe, as Viola Davis offers us, part of that is also just to see all of ourselves, to own all of ourselves, the good and the bad and everything in between. All of who you are is who you are. She goes on to explain that the process that follows when you start from looking at the hardest parts of yourself and your life, it hurts. You rage, you battle it out, you ask why, and then you forgive, reconcile, use your heart, your courage and vision to fix, to heal, and then ultimately to connect, to empathize. That, as I see it, is a very pithy way to describe the process of tshuva of these 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. You start from hurt and confusion and questions, and then you work to forgive, reconcile, and move toward healing and connection. She concludes this section of her speech by saying that all of this is the fuel of the warrior. All the parts of ourselves and the journey we're on, we're all warriors tonight. And the path starts with the hardest parts, the things we aren't so proud of. Let's begin there so we can end tomorrow night with empathy and healing and forgiveness and connection. Vidui is on page 234. Please rise in whatever way you're able.
לאבותינו תבוא לפניך תפילתנו ואל תתעלם מתחינתנו שאין אנחנו עזבנו וקשי עורף לומר לפניך אדוני אלוהינו אלוהי אבותינו צדיקים אנחנו ולא חטאנו אבל אנחנו חטאנו Roshanu טובים ולא שווה לנו, ואתה צדיק על כל הבא עלינו, כי אם אתה עשית ואנחנו הרשענו.
Page 237.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך באונס וברצון, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך באימוץ הלב, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בבלי דעת, ושחטאנו לפניך בביטוי שפתיים, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בגילוי עריות, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחוזק יד, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך על חטא שחטאנו לבניך ביצר הרע, ועל חטא שחטאנו לבניך ביודעים ולא יודעים, ועל כולם אלוהי סליחות, סלח לנו וחלמנו, כפר לנו. על חטא שחטאנו לבניך we have sinned against you through denial and deceit. We have sinned against you by taking bribes. We have sinned against you by clever cynicism. And we have sinned against you by speaking ill of others. על חטא שחטאנו לבניך בעיניים רמות, ועל חטא שחטאנו לבניך בעזות מצח, ועל כולם אלוהי סליחות, סלח לנו וחלמנו, כפר לנו. על חטא שחטאנו לבניך בפרי גדול, ועל חטא שחטאנו לבניך בפלילות, על חטא שחטאנו לבניך בצורה, על חטא שחטאנו לבניך בצרות עין, על חטא שחטאנו לבניך בקלות ראש, על חטא שחטאנו לבניך בקשות ראש. על חטא שחטאנו לבניך בשנאת חינם, על חטא שחטאנו לבניך בתשומת יד, ועל חטא שחטאנו לבניך בתימהון לבב, ועל כולם אלוהי סליחות, סלח לנו וחלמנו, כפר לנו, ועל כולם אלוהי סליחות, סלח לנו וחלמנו, סלח לנו וחלמנו,
The ark is open, page 243, Avinu Malkeinu.
אבינו מלכנו חטאנו לבניך, אבינו מלכנו אין לנו מלך אלא אתה, אבינו מלכנו עשה למען שמך, אבינו מלכנו חדש עלינו שנה טובה, אבינו מלכנו אבינו מלכנו סלח מחלונותינו אבינו מלכנו החזירנו בתשובה לשלמה לבניך, אבינו מלכנו שלח רפואה שלמה לכל ימיך, אבינו מלכנו זוכרנו בזיכרון טוב לפניך, אבינו מלכנו כותבנו בספר חיים טובים, אבינו מלכנו כותבנו בספר גאולה וישועה, אבינו מלכנו כותבנו בספר פרנסה וכלכלה, אבינו מלכנו כותבנו בזיכרון, אבינו מלכנו כותבנו בספר סליחה מחילה, אבינו מלכנו מצמח לנו שוב בקרוב, אבינו מלכנו, אבינו מלכנו, אבינו מלכנו כי אין בנו מעשים, מעשה
Kaddish Shalem is on page 245.
יתגדל, יתקדש שמי רבו.
אמן.
ויעלמה דברי חירותי, וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביום יחון, ובחיי דחודי ישראל, עגלה ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבו מבורך, לעולם יומי יומיה יתברך. יתברך. וישתבח ויתברך ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה נהנה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תשכחתה ונחמתה נמירה מעולמה התקבלת לא תורבתכם בכל ישראל אדם אבוהון בדשמיא ואמרו אמן יש לומר רבה משמיא לחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן עושה שלום ברמה יהיה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל
We'll invite everyone to have a seat, please. How's everyone doing? You good? Okay. I am so thrilled that we get to introduce to you now a dear friend of mine and a beloved community member and IKAR board member, Eric Green, who has been championing IKAR becoming and manifesting our greatest values and dreams in every aspect of our work and of our community life. And he has been a teacher and a friend for many, many years, and it's really a wonderful gift that you're giving us to share a couple of words with us tonight.
I'm not getting anything out of this. I'm not coming back. Those were the exact words that went through my head at 7 years old, waiting for my mom to pick me up from synagogue Sunday school. And when she arrived, those were the exact words I said to her. And that was it. From camp to Kiddush, Maimonides to Nachmanides, I wanted none of these. I was out, and I stayed out for a long time. So how is it that I'm here now, not just an IKAR member, but an IKAR board member, and giving the Kol Nidre appeal at that? I am a very unlikely person to be delivering this message. I don't have big money or fancy friends. I'm painfully shy. I don't like talking about myself. I'm someone who, like the poet said, was always on the outside of whatever side there was. And above all, I am not a joiner. I worked for the ACLU for a decade and never became a member. College Alumni Association? No. Law School Alumni Association? Hell no. I don't even have a Costco card. But I joined IKAR, proudly. Why? Well, as an adult finding my way back to Judaism, I visited synagogues throughout Los Angeles, a city blessed with so many great teachers and so many great institutions, but none felt like home. But IKAR felt different. IKAR was both sincere and irreverent, intense but joyful, rooted in the past and relevant to the present. Through all IKAR's work, the way it showed up in the Jewish community and the broader community, IKAR seemed to say that someone like me, a working-class Jew of color with no fancy pedigree, at IKAR could be not a stranger, not an oddity, but an actual part of the community. Even though for most of my years here, I couldn't afford to pay for a membership, I was able to be a member because IKAR had a value that financial need should not be a barrier to anyone from participating, and because there were donors who gave enough to allow IKAR to make good on that promise. But what moved me the most was what IKAR was saying about what Judaism could be. IKAR insisted that the prophets of yesterday were speaking to us about the issues of today. IKAR insisted that Judaism could be a force for liberation and compassion and integrity in a world that so deeply needs liberation, compassion, and integrity. And that was the Judaism that brought me back in. But this was not just the doing of IKAR's leadership. It was this whole community of mensches. When Rabbi Brous went on sabbatical last year, I think some worried about how we would fare in those months without her. But I didn't worry, because I knew that we have built not a cult of IKAR, but a culture of IKAR. We all, every one of us, create and sustain that culture when we show up for strangers who are mourning, when we celebrate the bat mitzvah of someone else's child, when we stand in solidarity with others who need allies. We create this culture when those of us on the board called members during the pandemic just to say, I'm calling from IKAR. Are you okay? Is there any way that IKAR can help? We sustain this culture when, by the power of our intention, through the presence of our reverence, we come together tonight with all our questions and all our doubts and all our regrets and all our hopes, and somehow, together, we transform a basketball gym into a sacred space, a space of inspiration, a space which holds the possibility of rebirth. That's the alchemy of community. That's the spell we can all weave when we create together. And that is worth supporting. Let's be honest, these are hard times. Climate disruptions and water wars. White nationalists on the march and insurrectionists in the Congress. Women losing their bodily autonomy. 750 measures nationwide targeting the boogeyman called critical race studies, and over 500 pieces of legislation targeting LGBTQ Americans. That's hard times. And hard times need strong hearts. And hard times also need compassionate communities. Hard times means we have to love harder on each other to get through together. The great James Baldwin, America's Jeremiah, wrote about times like ours. He warned, the sea rises, the light fails. Lovers cling to each other, and children cling to us. The moment we cease to hold each other, The moment we break faith with one another, the sea engulfs us and the light goes out. The compassionate community that we are building at IKAR is a way of holding that sea at bay, of keeping that light shining. Compassionate community is an antidote to despair, an antidote to hopelessness, an antidote to the fear and aggression turning Americans against each other. Communities don't just happen. They're acts of choice. You build a community the same way you build a civil society, one compassionate act at a time, one moment of kindness at a time, one courageous connection at a time, and yes, sometimes one donation at a time. IKAR does a lot. Shabbat services and special events and adult learning and children's programming and community organizing and so much more. And people are noticing what we are doing. In recent years, IKAR's community has doubled in size. But to do more, to serve more, costs more. And I'm telling you, as the unlikeliest of messengers, if you give more, it's gonna feel good. Because what I'm asking you to do by investing in IKAR is to transform your money into the building blocks of community, to support and continue to build a Judaism that is principled and urgent, potent and alive, that gives life to our deepest values and our highest aspirations. Gemar Tov.
So Eric and I just came in from outside in the tent where he was able to deliver his words to the folks that are in Rabbi Tzadok and Rabbi Bubas's service just outside. And I'm the closer here. I'm the one who's going to make you actually take out your cards and put your stickers on your cards. And I started by excusing all of the writers in the community if they were impacted by the strike, because we know how hard many people among us have been. And I was corrected because apparently, while we have been davening, there's been a tentative agreement that has been reached. And the writer's strike seems to be ending, which is fantastic news for many reasons. Among them, that now I can ask our writers for money again. So, in all seriousness, we know this has been a very hard year for lots of reasons. Eric named many of them, but especially for those in our community who have been on strike or who've been impacted by the strike. And this is a whole ecosystem of people who are connected to those in this space, writers and actors. We have hotel workers, we have auto workers. There are so many people right now who are using their voices and their bodies to demonstrate their values. I know it's been a hard time. That means that the people who are able have to actually give more generously this year. And so I really invite you now. I have marching orders from Melissa and Elad. Please take out your card now. Hold it above your head. It's in your e-card. Thank you. Thank you, 3 of you. Oh, good. 10 of you, 20 of you. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to invite you to please take your sticker and place that on your pledge card. None of us relish asking for money, especially on Kol Nidre. But while you're contemplating how much money you can stretch to give, I'm going to tell you a little story. This is not your sermon. The story is that about 7 or 8 years ago here at IKAR, right in this building, I think it was our first year in this building, when we were collecting pledge cards at the end of the evening, we saw a pledge card in which the highest dollar amount on the card, which that year was $50,000, had a sticker on it, which is wonderful. The thing is, none of us knew who the person was. And so we assumed that it was Levi, my son, who is just messing with us, as he does. We asked around. None of the board members knew this person. None of the staff knew this person. We asked and asked. I did a little Facebook sleuthing, as Ethan Goldstein might, and found that there was one person whose name matched this name, but I didn't know her. And I thought it really must be a mistake. But then one of our members, as we asked, and that beloved member is in this room tonight, said, oh yes, I know who that is. She came with me to High Holy Days, and she loved it. It was her first time. There was a young couple in their 20s, and we called them to say, could this possibly be you? And they said, yeah. We came, and we'd never had such a powerful Jewish experience in our lives. And at the end of the service, you said, we need to ask you to stretch and give as much as you possibly can. And that was the highest dollar amount on the card, so that's what we gave. So the next year, we bumped it to 100. And they gave 100. They did. And then a couple years after that, when they were preparing to move out of town, as people in their 20s often do, to move to another city, they came and sat down and said, we know that you're not in the capital campaign phase yet, but we know one day you will, and we want to make a contribution. Because we want to make sure that one day when the time is right, you'll have a little bit of seed funding to be able to begin your search. The reason I'm sharing this story with you right now, as you're contemplating how much you can contribute to the campaign, is because we had no idea who this person, this couple was. They were sitting in the room just like you are tonight. We didn't know them, and they really didn't know us, but we shared a sacred bond. We were mutually moved and inspired by what was happening. And they said to us, we want to know that this kind of Judaism can thrive in the world, whether we're here to appreciate it ourselves or not. So I'm going to ask you to please stretch your hearts, be as generous as you are able. If you are one of those people who wish that we had a higher target amount on our card, don't be shy about that. Just let us know. We'll be happy to adjust it for next year. And many of you know that we are in the early phases of a capital campaign because we would love to have the whole community together all in one space instead of out in the parking lot and in the basketball gym. If you're a person who's able to make a leadership or significant contribution, it will truly help us. So please put yourselves on our radar. We would not like to spend the next decade raising money. We'd actually like to invest all of our time and creativity and resources in really leaning into the values of IKAR and growing this community with love, being a voice for justice in the world, and working on the vibrancy and vitality of the Jewish future. We're going to do that while raising money, but I'd rather shrink the amount of time I need to spend raising money, to be honest with you. So please place a sticker on your card. In a little while, before the end of services, some board members are going to walk up and down the aisles, and hopefully you'll hold up your card and hand it to them. There'll also be people on your way out who you can hand it to. We're so grateful. Thank you all. Thank you, Eric Green, and wishing you all Gamar Chatima Tova. With that, are we singing? With that, I'm going to now invite my dear colleague, Rabbi Morris Panitz, to share with us tonight some words of Torah.
Shana Tova. Sometimes the angel of grief deposits a particular memory at your doorstep again and again. You open the door wondering, hoping that today will bring a new delivery, some new reminiscence that slipped free from the tightly wound knot of forgetfulness that lives inside of you. Maybe a memory from when you were young together, a moment of eyes meeting in silent recognition that you're thinking the same thing. An everyday moment, simple and joyous and painfully precious. But today, the angel of grief brings the same small parcel as yesterday and the day before, the same memory of our trip to the Sky Islands in 2008. The road trip began in Maryland, 5 of us packed into a family minivan, childhood friends from Camp Ramah in New England. We were 21. The open road, the perfect canvas for the freedom we felt, the adventure we pursued. We decided it was too cliche to read Jack Kerouac, so we took turns instead reading aloud Edward Abbey's novel, The Monkey Wrench Gang. It's a story about a group of ecologically minded misfits who unleash all sorts of mayhem on the polluters of the American Southwest. We listened to Radiohead and Wilco and Talib Kweli and played Trivial Pursuit and drove through the night and kept a collective journal. It was our friendship. Beautiful, deep, and evolving. It's the kind of friendship I pray my kids will know someday. Our destination was the Sky Island mountain range in southeastern Arizona. It was off the beaten path, which made it that much more exciting. We learned that these were isolated mountains rising up from the surrounding desert floor. So the experience of hiking these mountains meant moving through incredible landscape and wildlife diversity, starting in the desert, working our way through forests, eventually to snowy mountain peaks. We were as prepared for the multi-day summit as anyone our age could reasonably be expected. But at a certain point, it was clear that we were no longer on the trail. We had no idea where on the map we were located. Honestly, it was probably a little too late in the day to make the decision that we made. But here's the logic that won out. We know we aren't yet at the top, so pick the highest point we can see and just start climbing. Go up, you'll probably find the summit. And it wasn't that safe, and it was physically quite demanding, but we made it. We were so happy and relieved and moved by the beauty of the view, but not like Eric was. He was overcome with emotion, feeling with every ounce of his being the wonder of it all. He was fully present, his heart stretched wide open, taking it all in. The view from the summit was spectacular. In every direction, a mountain island in a desert sea. From this vantage point, from the sky, you're reminded that there are hundreds of mountains just like the one we climbed, distinct from one another, separated by stretches of barren land, their peaks dotting the landscape. We were so grateful and humbled to be there. Why this memory? I asked the angel of grief. Why take me to this sky island day after day? I survey the landscape again, and I see grief as an island that each of us who have loved and lost inhabit. Each island a terrain of pain, jagged and sharp in some places, smooth and well-worn in others. I've come to learn the unique features of my island's landscape just as you have learned yours. Don't get stranded, we remember, so we ask each other to come over for a bit, to traverse the desert that lies between your island and mine. Sometimes we climb to the peak to see once again that this island is part of an unending chain of islands, each built from the double helix of grief and love, still being built by grief and love. But it's more than that. Why this memory? Because in it, Eric was so alive. I can feel how he was, who he was, standing on the top of the mountain. 14 years later, on May 5th, 2022, Eric was fatally hit by a truck while riding his bicycle near his home in Brooklyn. He was 35 and eagerly awaiting the arrival of his first child with his wife, Tammy, who he had loved since we were teenagers. The ripples of his death extend far and wide, a testament to how much of a mensch he was, how deeply loved he was by his colleagues, by his friends, most of all by his family. I'm telling you this story because I know some of the grief you carry, my beloved community. How it aches to arrive at Kol Nidre without the ones you love by your side. I know that despite the profound differences between the islands of grief we each stand upon, we are intimately connected by the experience of loss. For me, and perhaps for you too, it's a friend. a kind of grief our tradition doesn't speak enough about. For some here, it's a parent, a partner, or a sibling. For some, it's a child, ripped from you too soon. The absence of our loved ones is so painfully present. It's both the experience of gathering for the High Holy Days and the themes of these days that bring us face to face with this grief. We say that the book of life is open, and we know that there are no guarantees. Our liturgy and our pleading, our dressing in white and fasting, our promises to live differently, to make the most of whatever time we have here on this planet. This is all the spiritual work and mirror of this season. And so, just as Rabbi Brous took us on Rosh Hashanah into the pain and the beauty of the final chapter of life, urging us to face death with clarity and courage, I hope this message can pick up that conversation and continue it through the journey of mourning. We know how hard it is to look at these questions, to expose these wounds. But in the shared space of brokenheartedness, we can look together for the questions that punctuate our grief. How do we mourn? How can we live in a rewritten present? How can we stay connected to our deceased loved ones? I'm going to share some of my story trying to answer these questions, not because my answers need to be yours, but because I believe we share the questions. And I hope that in naming and exploring these questions and the journeys they send us on, you'll tap into the truths you seek to remember or discover, that together we'll look into the cracks of our hearts, tracing their lines to the love we wish to uplift. 11 days after Eric died, I had the following dream, which I recorded as soon as I woke up. We were at some unrecognizable park about to leave, standing at a big swinging gate. Camp friends were there, but I'm not sure who specifically. Eric and I were speaking face to face. He had a big smile, looking a bit younger than his current age, but he was comically tall, like 12 feet tall. He said to me, "So I heard you were at my funeral." I think I nodded. He might have said, "How was it?" But I'm not sure. Or maybe I wasn't sure if the question was rhetorical. Next thing I knew, he started drifting to the sky like he was being pulled up by strings in a diagonal upward movement, balloon-like. He got smaller and smaller as he rose higher and higher, and I collapsed to the pavement, sobbed uncontrollably. My friends wanted to pick me up from the ground, but I laid there in a fetal position, sobbing. In the next image, I'm walking with Eric, seemingly from the park we had just left, having a normal conversation. I asked him what he was learning these days, and he said the Talmudic tractate Bava Metzia. When I woke up, I felt like I couldn't move or didn't want to move. I felt like my body had been through the crying in the dream, sadness still covering me. Not necessarily a cathartic cry, but the kind of release that left me tender and fragile. I thought about Bava Metzia, the tractate of the Talmud that deals with the laws of returning lost objects to their owners, and what it meant for Eric to utter these words. Above all, I felt profoundly grateful for this dream. It felt like a visit, like communication, like an invitation to continue to be in relationship with him, to learn with him, in a space, in a book that's central to my identity, to the way that I navigate the world. I don't want to lose you in this moment of personal interpretation. We are a tradition and a community that faces the unknown of what lies beyond with humility. I offer no authoritative truth for this mystery. Just one picture to place alongside your picture of how the deceased remain with us. Some of us are rationalists, some are mystics. Some speak of the soul and its continued journey. Some find these claims painful in light of their experiences of loss. I'm not asking you to relinquish your picture. I'm asking us to look at what generates the picture, a shared desire to find and cherish that which endures. This is about checking in with your heart and locating the love that still lives there even when they're gone. Love that accompanies you and shapes you and creates you, and choosing to be where the love is. It took me 6 months to open Bava Metzia. I moved the book of Talmud from my desk to my nightstand to my office, simultaneously avoiding it and carrying it with me everywhere. Over the last year, I've spent many agonizing hours and some incredibly beautiful ones learning this text in search of my dear friend Eric. Learning this text as a vehicle for my grief to take me where it needed me to go. The primary theme of chapter 2 of Bava Metzia is what's called Hashavat Aveda, returning lost objects. From the moment of the dream, I felt the resonance of this topic, the horrible truth that he was lost to us, and perhaps the words of this text could help me find him. But immediately I was confronted with how different the starting place is for the Talmud than my own. Elu mitziot shelo ve'elu chayav lahachris. These finds belong to the finder, and these finds one is obligated to announce and attempt to return. And then page after page, fleshing out the details of these scenarios. When you find something, how do you know if you can keep it or if you have to return it? In making that decision, how does one factor in the value of the object, the location where it's found? Does it look like it fell there or was it placed there on purpose? Are there identifying features that someone would recognize and be able to describe? Or is it an object like a dollar bill? It looks like any other dollar bill. But what if the dollar bill is folded like a little sailboat? Okay? We wonder why Jews are neurotic. Look, there's something incredible about the society the Talmud is trying to build, right? This is one that takes seriously our responsibilities towards one another, that if someone loses something, we don't default to finders, keepers. We recognize the anxiety of having lost something, and we try to respond to that by making a good faith effort to return the lost object. It's a network of reciprocity. Social bonds are strengthened through personal, communal obligation, and yeah, like any other legal system, the details matter. The holiness in our tradition is expressed through the mundane. But the Talmud begins with an assumption that something lost has been found. That's the premise for the pages that follow. That wasn't the starting place for my grief. I felt like we had lost Eric and I couldn't find him. And I desperately wanted to find him. And this sacred text was somehow going to help me do it, to return him to where he once was, to whom he was once with. As I fought with these pages of text, I realized I was trying to bring him back. If only I could figure out how to bring him back. This is Joan Didion's year of magical thinking. Right? It's what she means when she writes in the months after her husband John's sudden death, bringing him back had been through those months my hidden focus, a magic trick. By late summer, I was beginning to see it clearly. Seeing it clearly did not yet allow me to give away the clothes he would need. There's a moment in the Talmud. The spotlight shifts temporarily from the experience of the finder to the seeker of their lost possession. There are some kinds of losses, some circumstances of loss, the Talmud explains, where the seeker despairs of recovering their possession. Vadai nityaesh mimena. Yeush is the despair we feel when someone is truly gone. And it's the beginning of the journey towards accepting that we're really not going to find them as they once were. This is central to the grief so many of us know firsthand. It's the worst possible feeling that we'll never hug them again and they aren't going to walk through the kitchen door. I so badly wanted to hear Eric's voice again, somehow pick up the conversation where I had left off. When I'd sit down to study these pages, I'd take out the picture of the two of us that lived in my book, and I'd tell him what page we're on and what the rabbis were fighting about and what I thought about and what did he think about it. So much silence. That's Yeush as well. Learning through pain that the relationship can't exist how it used to. It's a horrible feeling. I wish it wasn't true. But here's the thing about Yeush. In Bava Metzia, it functions as a release mechanism. It allows the finder to keep what they found because they know that the search for that particular item has ceased. As I read these laws of lost and found, I realized that we who grieve inhabit both roles. We are the Baal and Motzei. We lost what belonged to us, and only when we despair of finding them as they were can we begin to find them as they are now. It's no substitute, but it's all we have. Yeush means letting go of that impossible hope so that we can begin to look for them in different ways. And I've come to believe that even when they're gone, there are ways to find them. So I begin again with that first sentence of the Talmud. Elu mitziot shelo. These found objects belong to the finder. Al tikra mitziot. I say back to the page, don't read it as found objects. Rather, read it as mitziut, realities. From mitziot to mitziut. Change the vowel. Reorient. Now it reads, these realities, even in their brokenness, can belong to me. A reality in which I can feel Eric's presence, in which we can feel the presence of our loved ones by caring about what they cared about, by uplifting and carrying forward the work that animated them. Eric was an architect, and the design he was most passionate about was multi-faith worship spaces. These are the interfaith chapels and quiet meditation rooms in airports, hospitals, prisons, universities, and they're rarely intentionally designed. But what if, Eric asked, these could be real spaces of multi-faith gathering where Jews and Sikhs and Muslims and Christians could come together and worship one broken heart next to the other. If I can uplift that vision, his dream, I continue to walk with him, to advance the work that mattered to him. And so I ask, what kind of world was your loved one trying to build? What brokenness were they committed to repairing? And what's your role in keeping that vision moving forward? At the center of caring about what they cared about is loving who they loved. And in doing so, we bring their love with us. We channel it and share it and grow it. We try as hard as we possibly can to keep the promises of a shared lifetime or the promises made in those final moments. To look after the kids, loving them as fiercely and fully as you did. To take care of mom like you used to. To keep getting together for holidays and vacations. To call each other more often. To show up with that big, generous heart of yours. In this reality, we find your love and we make it ours. We stitch it into the torn seams of our own broken hearts so that every expression of love comes from us both. One of the fundamental reorientations of loss is the discovery that so much of me is because of you. It's always been true, but it often comes into greater clarity upon their death. Who I am is inseparable from your fingerprints, the ways you shaped and guided me, pushed and inspired me. In grief, we try to learn, this time with our hearts, that just by being me, I'm still with you. You're here because I'm here. When I listen with curiosity like you so often did, when I put on Chopin's nocturnes, when I cultivate beautiful friendships, I am the me you taught me to be. Maybe you catch yourself saying something your loved one always used to say. And then there they are, present in your heart. Maybe it's the recipe they always brought out for special occasions, the way you walk your company back to their car. You know, they taught you that. Perhaps it's the courage you found to make that big change, and you could feel yourself nudged along, encouraged, supported by the one who gave you that gift in the first place. Of course, it's not the same. But nothing is the same in this new reality. We're trying to learn a new language for this relationship, trying to translate a different lexicon of love into something we can understand, something we can really feel in our depths. And yeah, it takes work and yeush and imagination and memory and persistence through exhaustion, but it can be found. This love that created you can continue to sustain you. There's one more piece of this new reality that I want to explore. In Catherine Schultz's deeply moving memoir, Lost and Found, she tells the story of grieving her father's death alongside the concurrent experience of finding and falling in love with her wife. From within her grief, she writes, "The most important thing that had vanished when he died, I realized in that instant, is wholly unavailable to me. Life as it looked to him. Life as we all live it, from the inside out." I understand what she's saying. When someone dies, we lose the world through their eyes. We can no longer ask them what they think about something or what it felt like to be somewhere. Most painfully, we lose how they saw us, how loved we were to them. We won't hear them say that again, not like they used to. But I want to say to Catherine Schultz and to myself and to you, I don't think it's wholly unavailable to us. I believe there are ways to find and claim and feel what they felt about us, to locate the certainty of their love, the texture of their emotion, and then accept it again and again, to see myself as he saw me. That's the gift of the dream. He saw me as someone who will look for what's lost and dedicate my life and my rabbinate to returning what can be found. When I see myself as he saw me, I find and am found in my greater purpose, in my life's work. I want to invite you to take a deep breath. Bring forward the image of someone who really loved you. What did their love for you feel like? What dream did they hold for you, even when it was hard to hold it for yourself? What did their love for you know that you need to be reminded of? Wherever they are now, their love for you lives here in your heart. Can you go there, even for a little? Meet them in their love for you. Feel them in their belief in you. In that space, maybe you can find who you need to be in this world. And when we're living our purpose, when we're guided by their love, the blessings of their life endures. May the blessings of their life endure.
everybody. Shana Tova and Gamar Tov. I just wanted to take a quiet moment to speak directly to you, the folks who are joining us from afar. I was thinking the last few days about how for many, many years I resisted live streaming our services. I didn't want for us to be able to connect through the screen because I felt like we spend all of our time on screens and we have to find our way to each other in person during sacred time. And then COVID came and turned our whole world upside down, and we really had no other choice. And I remember that first High Holy Days of COVID when each one of the rabbis and clergy were in our own individual classrooms, separated from one another, and the whole community was with us through the screen. And we got to be a Tayu, this incredible prayer that we do during Musaf, late morning on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And I was looking at this screen, and there were hundreds of you who were joining us from all around the city and all around the country and all around the world. And we started to sing, and people just got up and started jumping and dancing. And it just absolutely took my breath away. And it really taught me that the kind of connection that we have in real community totally transcends physical space, and that we can, in fact, be in each other's lives in very meaningful ways when it matters most through the screen. And so I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for being with us in this way and to let you know that I see you and I appreciate you. And I wish you a year of health, of strength, of joy, a year of love, and maybe most importantly, a year of true connection. If you're able to support the work of IKAR, we would be so grateful for a pledge of whatever amount you're able to contribute. This really is going to go a long way in helping to support and sustain the community. And in any case, I wish you a year of great blessings. Please know that it really means the world to me to be able to be in community with you. Shana Tova.
Someone stole the world and made it face you black. Where is yesterday? I want my blue skies back. Tell the man who sold the world to give it back. How I want my blue skies back. The world
please remain standing. We're going to turn to Aleinu on page 246.
נעלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
David is on page 248, a psalm for these sacred days.
לדוד אדוני ריבי מירה. לולא האמנתי לראות בטור אדוני בארץ חיים, קבל אדוני חזק באמץ ליבך, תקווה אל אדוני.
We're going to turn now to Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, and I want to invite anybody who's grieving the death of a loved one or observing a yard site marking the anniversary of the death of a loved one, or especially in light of Rabbi Panitz's beautiful words tonight, if there's anyone in the room who's just feeling the closeness of the spirit of a loved one, whether this season is their season of passing or not, just invite you to join me on page 247. I also just want to reach out with love to Caroline, whose father died just yesterday morning. Henry Nathan wrote, and may his memory always be a blessing. May all of us who are among the brokenhearted in this moment feel the warmth and love of community and the words, Amen, 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 Amen. Kaddish Yatom is on page 247. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'yalmad divra pirutei v'yamnich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayei techol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitala, v'yitalal, shmei dekudsha brichu, le'ela, le'ela, mikol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. We're going to close in just a couple of minutes. Just a few quick announcements for us before we go to orient you to what the next day is going to look like. First of all, we have huge gratitude to all of our volunteers, to our staff, to our maintenance and security team, to our kitchen crew, and all the people who are working so hard to make this experience as beautiful and wondrous as it is, to transform this space into sacred space. We're so grateful, and we thank you all. There are a few donors who stepped up this year and answered the call to sponsor these High Holy Days, and I want to say their names. These are folks who made very significant contributions in order to cover the expenses of High Holy Days so that everything that we raise over the course of these days can actually go directly to the work of IKAR. So we're not starting off paying off our debt for all the, pipe and drape here. So I want to especially thank Tracy and Aaron Colite, Sarah and Michael Ellenberg, Abner and Roz Goldstein, Mark Borman and Karen Hermelin, Marta Kaufman, Sophie and Adam Pritzker, and 2 anonymous sponsors. We're so deeply grateful for all of them, for all of you. Thank you for stepping up in this way. It makes a huge difference. Tomorrow morning, we're going to start here at 9 a.m. Not on Rosh Hashanah, we start at 8:30. On Yom Kippur, we give you a couple extra minutes to sleep. We're starting at 9 a.m. We're going to be, again, meeting in here and also outside. They're different but similar experiences, so you can feel free to go in and out over the course of the day. If you want to get a little fresh air, or if you want to get a little air conditioning, you can figure out your air-driven comfort. I do want to say that one thing that will not be happening outside is at approximately 11 a.m., the Surgeon General of the United States, Dr. Vivek Murthy, will be here to be in dialogue with me about loneliness, community, and why we need each other. If you've been paying attention, he has been writing and speaking about this in earnest for the course of the last several years, and he's an incredible, soulful, brilliant voice, and we're so honored to have him with us. We'll be in dialogue in the middle of the Torah service here. The sermon will be between 12 and 1 inside, and sometime between 1 and 2 outside. This is your advanced warning. We're having hard conversations on these holy days. We're going to be talking about Israel and what is going on over there and what it means for us as an American Jewish community here. And so that will be starting sometime around 12 o'clock tomorrow. We invite you to bring your new and clean, gently used warm clothing for people of all sizes to services during these holy days. You can bring them tomorrow. We're partnering with the Volunteer Collective to collect these warm clothes for low-income families in Boyle Heights and in East LA. We also know that there are folks in our own community who could use a little bit of extra help. And so if you are one of the people who would benefit from some of this, from some of the clothing that we're raising, please, you can come have a confidential conversation with any of your clergy, and we're happy to make those arrangements. Also, if you're going to be with us for Breakfast, so we invite you to pick up your wristband at the check-in tent. We are looking forward to spending the whole day together tomorrow. And if you're a Jew who pops in for an hour on Kol Nidre, or who comes in tomorrow like hoping to catch that perfect moment where the sermon is coming, I just want to invite you to think about stretching yourself this year and just making a day out of it. As I always say, I believe that these High Holy Days have a transformative possibility to them. But in order to experience that, we actually have to be here. There's something about the relentlessness of the repetition of these words. Every moment is not going to be transcendent, but the experience is going to be transcendent. And so come and stay. During the break tomorrow, we'll have a couple hours of break. We'll have restorative yoga. We'll have a sound bath and meditation. We'll have a Torah study. We'll have a grief group for people who are processing grief. There's a lot of goodness that's going on throughout the day. And then the whole community will be together outside for the afternoon service, mincha, and then for Ne'ilah as the sky darkens. And so I hope that you'll join us for the whole day. And I think I'm going to stop there. So if you have one of those Yizkor books with you already, so I just want to invite you to leave it here when you go so that they'll be here tomorrow when we come back. The point is for us to be able to read them as we're sitting here together. And with that, we're gonna close our service in just a moment with a blessing, and then we love on Kol Nidre and on Erev Rosh Hashanah for the clergy to make their way, really for the rabbis to make their way outside, so that we can greet everybody and wish you Shana Tova. So we're going to sing together, and then we're going to quickly make our way outside so that we can just bless you for this new year, in the hopes that you have a year of strength, joy, health, and so much love. Rabbi Jensen.
Please rise in whatever way you're able. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, here we are, all of us, right here together in this moment, uncertain, impatient, unsure, yearning, hopeful, afraid. We are here with everything we have and everything we are. And we hope to leave here tomorrow night with everything we have and everything we are, but changed somehow, different, more fully ourselves. Thank you for bringing us to this moment. We know so many people did not make it here. Thank you for this opportunity to keep working on the world that our loved ones wanted to see. Every breath we have is a gift. Thank you for the reminders to search the lost and found. Thank you for the push to heed our dreams, to immerse in them fully. Thank you for the chance to cry in Italy while listening to Pachelbel's Canon. Thank you for the 5 chances to shed layers and get closer to who we really are. Thank you for the opportunity to be in this room when we heard for the first time that there was a tentative deal for the writers' strike. Thank you for this chance to remember that all we are does not have to be good. All we are just has to be all that we are. May we have the strength in the day to come to really see all that we are, and then may we have the strength to leave some of it behind. The parts that are no longer serving us, the parts that are getting in the way of our relationships, the parts that are keeping us small. Let's thank them for what they have given us, and then lovingly let them go. As the gates begin to close, let's look for each other. None of us are islands. Let's look especially for the people we have struggled to find. Let's look hard for each other. I am me because of you. Let's be present in this day for everything that it brings us. I hope it surprises us. I hope we re-encounter each other tomorrow night, different, better, more whole. Baruch atah Adonai, shomea tefillah. Blessed are you, God, the one who hears our prayer.
Alleluia.